The wind was cold that morning. It howled between the buildings and danced across the street like it had a message to deliver. In the middle of this chill, a woman stepped out of a city bus. Her coat was worn. The stitching along the sleeves had come undone in places, and the color had faded over time. Her shoes, though clean, had clearly seen many seasons. And yet she walked with purpose, holding a folded piece of paper in her hand. A printed car advertisement, creased from being opened and closed too many times. Her name was Mira, and today was a big day. After years of living modestly, saving every penny, and sacrificing her own wants to support her family, she had finally gathered enough to consider buying a car. Not a new one, not something fancy, just a reliable, used sedan that could help her commute and take her mother to her hospital appointments without depending on late buses or expensive ride-hailing apps. She had done her homework. She found a place, Fairway Motors, a large glass-fronted dealership on the wealthier side of the city. The ad had said holiday discount, used cars at factory prices, and Mira had circled the offer with red ink, hopeful it could be her breakthrough. When she entered the dealership, the warmth inside felt artificial, not just from the temperature, but from the stares. Salespeople in sleek suits glanced up and then away, some smirking, others ignoring her entirely. Mira approached the front desk with a polite smile. "Good morning," she said softly. "I saw your ad about the used Civic." Before she could finish, the receptionist, a tall woman named Tasha, with flawless makeup and a sharp stare, cut her off. "Those are by appointment only. You didn't schedule one, did you?" "No, but the ad didn't say anything about needing an appointment," Mira explained, holding up the paper. Tasha looked at it briefly, scoffed, then handed it back. "Ma'am, you're welcome to look around, but those cars go fast. And honestly," she trailed off, giving Mira a full scan from head to toe. "I don't think we have anything in your range." The words stung, but Mira nodded. She wasn't here for a fight. She just wanted to see the car. She wandered toward the back, where a few used models were parked. A young salesman, Ryan, noticed her and walked over with a rehearsed smile. "Need some help?" "Yes, I'm interested in the Civic listed here," Mira replied, showing him the ad. Ryan barely looked at it before chuckling. "Look, lady, that deal's basically bait. We already sold it this morning. It's just how the game works, you know?" His grin grew wider. "Maybe check back next week. Or better yet, try Craigslist." Something in his tone flipped a switch in Mira. She straightened up. "Is your manager available?" Ryan rolled his eyes. "For what? He's not going to change the price or bring the car back." "I'd just like to speak to him," she said firmly. He called out toward the glass office near the corner. "Mr. Clark, got someone who wants a word." The manager, a middle-aged man in a pressed suit and tired eyes, stepped out. He saw Mira, then the ad in her hand, then sighed before even reaching her. "Look, ma'am, we're not a charity. We don't do handouts here." "I never asked for one," Mira replied, her voice calm but cold. "I came here hoping for some respect." That was the moment things snapped. "We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone, and I'm going to exercise that right now," Mr. Clark barked. "You're disrupting my sales floor. Please leave, or I'll have security escort you out." It was humiliating. Mira didn't cry. She wouldn't give them the satisfaction. But her chest felt tight as she turned around, her fingers trembling as they clutched the ad. She could hear the murmurs behind her, the smirks, the whispers, even a mocking laugh. No one saw the pain behind her steady walk. She stepped outside and breathed in the crisp air. Her pride had been bruised, but her dignity remained intact. For the rest of the day, Mira remained quiet. She didn't tell anyone what had happened. Not her sister, not even her husband. She spent the evening preparing dinner, then sat beside her mother like usual, watching old soap operas. But late that night, when her husband came home, he noticed something was off. His name was Zayden, and though Mira simply called him her partner, he was far more than that. Zayden was a quiet force, someone who didn't boast, didn't flash wealth, and rarely involved himself in Mira's everyday decisions unless asked. But tonight, as she washed the dishes in silence, he gently asked, "What happened?" At first, she waved it off, but eventually Mira told him everything. Not to complain, but to release the weight on her heart. Zayden listened, not interrupting once. When she finished, he only said one thing. "What time does that dealership open tomorrow?" The next morning, the staff at Fairway Motors were in their usual rhythm. Polished shoes, fake smiles, high commissions. Tasha was at the desk. Ryan was polishing his watch, and Mr. Clark was barking into a phone. Then they heard it, a low, powerful purr, a hum that didn't sound like a typical engine. It sounded like authority. Heads turned as a Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up in front of the dealership. Jet black, chrome finish. The kind of car that didn't just scream money, it whispered power. The door opened slowly. First stepped out a man in a sharp navy suit. Tall, confident, with an aura that silenced the room. Then from the other side, Mira stepped out, still in the same coat. But today she wore it differently. Her shoulders were straight, her gaze steady, and the dealership froze. Tasha blinked. Ryan dropped his phone. Mr. Clark muttered under his breath, already sweating. Zayden walked in first, Mira beside him. They didn't have to say anything. The receptionist stammered. "Can I help you?" "Yes," Zayden said calmly. "I believe my wife came here yesterday. You refused her service." Mr. Clark approached, pasting on a fake smile. "Oh, sir, I believe there was some misunderstanding." Zayden cut him off with one cold sentence. "You judged a woman based on her coat and shoes, not her worth. And now you will see the cost." Zayden wasn't just any billionaire. He was a silent investor in multiple auto brands, including one whose cars Fairway Motors sold. With one phone call, he connected directly to a regional vice president. Within minutes, Fairway Motors' future started to unravel. Zayden didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Every word was deliberate. Every silence was louder than the dealership's music. When he spoke, executives listened. "I want a public apology written, signed, and shared within 24 hours, Zayden said. "Not just to my wife, but to every customer you've ever dismissed for not dressing the part." Mr. Clark tried to salvage dignity. "Sir, we didn't know." "That's the point," Mira finally spoke, her voice clear. "You didn't care to know." Before leaving, Zayden turned to Ryan and Tasha. "You judged a woman for looking simple, and now a simple woman just changed the course of your careers." Later that evening, as the Rolls-Royce drove away from the dealership, Mira sat quietly. She looked at her husband and whispered, "I didn't want revenge." "I know," Zayden replied, "but I wanted them to understand silence doesn't mean weakness." Mira smiled faintly. "Still want to buy a car?" He chuckled. "Only if you pick it." The next day, Fairway Motors published an official statement on their website and social pages, apologizing publicly to Mira and acknowledging discriminatory behavior toward customers based on appearance. What they didn't mention, but everyone in the city found out anyway, was that the dealership had lost a massive auto contract because of that incident. Mr. Clark resigned. Ryan was let go. Tasha was demoted. And Mira? She never gloated. She never posted anything. She simply lived, gracefully, powerfully, as a reminder that sometimes the quietest people have the loudest impact. They thought she was nobody. They judged her shoes, her coat, her silence. But the next day, a black Rolls Royce rolled up and shattered their illusions. Because sometimes the people you dismiss the fastest are the ones you'll remember forever.